All right, I'm here at the Sales 2.0 conference. You can't really tell because we ducked into a quiet room, but it's pretty crazy out there. And I'm here with Peter Ostrow from Aberdeen. And Peter, what's your take so far on the Sales 2.0 conference and all the technologies you're seeing out there?
So it's a pretty active community. I know a couple of folks have said, well, you know, there's a lot more people and a lot more providers here than we've seen in the past. And some of them aren't technically 2.0 providers, but I think 2.0 is being seen more as a metaphor for what are the tools that are available to us, whether or not they're hosted, whether or not they're web-based or interactive or social in nature, that can help our sales force beyond the old-fashioned and traditional reliance upon Excel and cold calling, which are more methodologies than technologies.
Yeah. So you do a lot of research, obviously, in this area of sales effectiveness or sales enablement, whatever you want to call it. And you're talking to a lot of folks that are thinking about these things, you know, that are dealing with the challenges that Sales 2.0 can help with. And so I'm wondering, are you seeing them really starting to embrace these new ways of selling, these new technologies?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you separate ways of selling from technologies, there are service providers that will help with a consultative approach that say, here's a better way from a training perspective or a methodology perspective, and some of those folks will system integrate, let's say, with the providers. The technologies themselves, I think, for the most part, are add-ons to CRM. We don't see many organizations anymore that simply use CRM or Salesforce automation deployment and rely only on that from the standpoint of getting their salespeople to embrace the technologies that can help them sell more efficiently. So whether it's an analytics tool or playbooks or configure, price, quote, or sales performance management or all of the other different types of enabling technologies, seeing them integrated into the SFA or the CRM deployment tends to be the way in which your typically somewhat technophobic sales folks are most likely to embrace these technologies, which in the best of situations, of course, they see help them from a whiffum, what's in it for me standpoint, and help their organizations from an overall effectiveness strategy.
So would you say that that's the greatest reason to be open to some of these new technologies, kind of what you just described there? Or why do you think management or VP should really be thinking about what's out there and how it can work for their organization?
I'll reduce it to the context of our research. We always ask end users, how are you behaving and how are you performing? And for the most part, our research shows that the top performing companies, the best-in-class companies, generally are more willing to embrace, even if they don't always work out, sales-oriented and marketing-oriented and new technologies. At the end of the day, you can, there was one speaker here today that said, we have something like a dozen or 15 different technologies from the solution providers here at the show. I've got to track down that person and actually ask him how they integrate them all, because that can obviously be a challenge, but there is no silver bullet. There's not one vendor, nor one technology, nor one software, or any type of deployment that's going to magically fix a sales force that's not hitting its number or a company that's not hitting its revenue goals. Obviously, listening to the marketing plays from all of the providers and reading the research from independent third-party providers like us, hopefully that helps folks make the decisions, but sometimes trial and error is just going to have to be a part of it. Hopefully these are situations where you try something for half a year or a year, not a month or two. It's not like a test market campaign, and try to see the value as soon as possible. What we encourage folks to do is to measure. Understand what are the metrics that we hope to change by adopting a technology or a process. Measure them now, midway, and towards the end of the pilot, and see if things are looking better.
Makes sense. And with a subscription option, obviously you're not locked in a lot of times to a 3-year contract or something where your whole infrastructure has had to been changed because of this new technology. So it seems like there's the risk is a lot lower these days to try something new. And
yeah, that's definitely the case, but I think you have a short window of opportunity anyway. Sales folks are not technology early adopters, and for the most part, if they're good, they want to spend their time listening and, of course, talking quite a bit, whether it's on the phone or in person. And for a lot of sales folks, technology is slowly moving from a burden to an enabler, but you have to be really careful, even if the risk is low from the standpoint of looking at a limited subscription type of commitment. Still, you have a very short window of opportunity with new technologies for sales folks to say, I'm in or I'm out.
Yeah,
and the
right
first
away.
time it glitches, the first time it doesn't connect, they're going to pass the word to their peers. And
right.
There you go.
Well, you make a good point, because I know we were talking earlier with someone here about having to sell within the company when it comes to getting these new tools to really take off. you have to do that selling to your sales team. And it's almost the same as what they're going through. You know, they have a short window to be able to talk somebody into really listening to more about their product. It's the same thing internally, isn't it?
It is. And that particular vendor, I know, rolled out a new technology to all 700 of their global sales staff at one time. That's gutsy. Typically, you know, I would roll out an internal sales technology the way you do it externally with betas with certain customers and certain tried and true and trackable measures. But that particular organization with all 700, they seem like they're off to a good start. And I know that in 30 or 45 days, they'll probably have some data around revenue attainment and sales cycle and things like that to help back up the validity of their spend.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks for chatting with me today. And we'll see you later.
Take care. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.